We're going to figure out how to write an equation from a graph. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pay attention to the line. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus or minus b. M for us is the slope, but we're going to say that it's the man. And so that's your receiver. He's going to go up or down and side to side. This, the b, is the y-intercept, but for us, we're going to say it's the ball and it's on the yard line. So as long as it's in this formula, we should be good. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our graph. This is the y-axis. We look to see where the ball is on the y-axis. So you trace the line until it hits the y-axis. I'm going to look, and it's hitting at -3, which means my y-intercept is at 0, -3. Now, slope is the route that your receiver ran. So what you do is you trace the line, and you look really close, and when it comes to an intersection, and when I mean intersection, I mean it's crossing an X. So right here, our receiver could catch the ball. Trace, 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 trace. Right here, our receiver could catch the ball. And so that's it. So we're gonna, at all these places, our receiver could catch the football because he's where an X and a Y cross. So what you do to find your slope, I'm going to look at the line. The line is going down, and you read a line from left to right. So the line is going down. That means our slope will be a negative. And you just count. So he goes down 1, 2, 3. So he went down 3. He went over 1. I'm going to check it again. 1, 2, 3, over 1. So I know that -3 divided by 1 would be -3. So all we're going to do is we're going to plug this into our equation. Y stays the same, X stays the same. Slope, which is the route the receiver ran, goes in front of the X. The y-intercept, where the ball is on the y-axis, our quarterback has the ball at the -3, goes behind the X. And that's it. That's the equation of a line. All right, let me do another one for you. Same thing, y-axis. I know it has to be in y equals mx plus or minus b. Trace the line, the y-axis, it crosses right here. So what that means is that my ball is at the -2 yard line. So I would just say 0, -2. The ball is at, y stays the same, x stays the same. The ball is at the -2 yard line, so I'm just going to put it at the back. B for ball. Now we have to go look at our receiver. I'm going to trace the line from left to right. The line is going up, which makes it a positive slope. So I just have to check. Trace the line until it hits an intersection. It hits an intersection right here. So I'm going to go trace the route the receiver ran. The receiver starts with the ball. He went up 1. He went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our receiver ran a route of up 1, over 5. So I'm just going to take this slope and plug it in. So now my slope is y equals 1/5 x minus 2. Let's do another one right here. Same thing again and again and again. Okay. So I'm going to trace the y-axis. And it hits right here at the 0. So if it hits at the 0, I know my y-intercept is 0, 0. Okay, so again, y equals mx plus b. Y stays, equal stays, x stays. The y-intercept is at the 0, so I'm going to say plus 0. Now I'm going to trace the line from left to right. The line is going down. That makes my slope a negative. And I can just count. There's a dot here, 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 here. So the receiver can catch the football at any of those spots. So the route that he could run is 1 over 1. You could have said 1, 2, 3 over 3. You could have even said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it doesn't matter because -1 divided by 1 gives us -1. -3 divided by 3 still would give us a -1. So that means our slope would be a -1. Now, on a test, you wouldn't see the 1 here or the 0 here. If it's you would actually see y equals negative x. That's it. We're not going to ever say I ate a piece of pizza plus 0 desserts. You wouldn't say that. You would just say I ate a piece of pizza. So that 0 drops off. And if it's negative 1x, it's the same thing as a negative x. So this would actually be the equation. This is correct, but on a test you would see it like this. Okay, let's do this next one. Again, y-axis, y equals mx plus b. Y stays, x stays. Let's go find the ball. The ball is way up here on the 5-yard line, and it's positive, so that means we're going to be at positive 5. We're going to trace the line from left to right. The line is going up, therefore it's a positive slope. Our y-intercept we said was 0, 5. So now we need to trace the route that the receiver ran. So let's draw some dots. Trace, 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 dot. Trace, 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 dot. Trace, trace, dot. Trace, trace, dot. Now, a lot of you are going to try to go down, but we can't because you always start on the left. Just like you reading a sentence, you read from left to right. Graphs go from left to right. So, he goes up 2 over 1. Let's try it again. Up 2 over 1. So, we have a positive slope because our line is going up, and he went up 2 over 1. 2 divided by 1 is 2. So, our man, M, ran a route of 2 over 1, which equals 2. Therefore, our formula is y equals 2x plus 5. Okay, let's do another one. Here we go. Same thing. All right. So, I'm going to check the y-axis. It is crossing at the 4. So, that means my y-intercept would be 0, 4. I'm going to write my equation. Y equals mx plus or minus b. Y stays, equal stays, x stays. I know that the ball is on the 4-yard line. So, I'm just going to write positive 4. I'm going to trace my line. The line's going down, thus making it a negative slope. And I can check. We're going to follow the line until it hits an intersection. So it hits one right here. It hits one right here. Okay. So if I look carefully, these don't match and I need to pay attention. This one I went down 1, 2, 3 over 1. So I'm going to check again. 1, 2, 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. So this dot right here, even though it looks close, isn't actually going through the line. And that's why you do more than one dot to check. So now I'm going to check this guy. Here's definitely an intersection, and here's an intersection. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he goes down 8 to catch, and then he goes over 3. 1, 2, 3. So again, this is the route the receiver ran. He ran down 8 over 3, thus making my slope negative 8 over 3. All right, number 6, let's look at this one. Same thing again and again and again. Y equals mx plus or minus b. Y stays, equal stays, x stays. B says, let's go find the ball. So we trace the y-axis. There it is, at a negative 1. So now my y-intercept is 0, negative 1. So the ball would be on the negative 1-yard line. I'm going to trace the route. The receiver has to run a positive route. Therefore, I know my slope will be a plus. We're going to trace the line till we hit an intersection. There's one right here. And there's one right here. So I'm just going to count up. 1, 2, 3 over 2. And I check my work. 1, 2, 3 over 2. 1, 2. So my receiver ran up 3 over 2. The quarterback was on the negative 1-yard line. It threw him the ball and he caught it. So that 3 over 2 goes right here in front of the slope. Okay? So now we're going to do this one. We're going to do 7 and 8, which look very different. We have a horizontal line and we have a vertical line. So the first thing we're going to do is still write our equation. Y equals mx plus or minus b. All right, so this is different. Do we hit a y-intercept? Yes, we do. The y-intercept is at a 3. So no matter what, we know that it will be plus 3. Now, I don't go up at all. There is no slope going up. So since there's no slope going up, I'm only going over. And as you can see, you kind of hit it every single dot. So that would be over 1, which is 0. So when there is no up, that makes our slope right here a 0. When there is no up, that means that if there's 0 x's, I cannot write the x. So I am left with y equals 3. So that means that if the slope is on the top is 0, it's going to have y equals a number, because this is a horizontal line. Okay? And it's known as no slope. Again, this would be a super boring roller coaster. This, number 8, is the opposite. This is a roller coaster Miss Perk will not go on, because it's one of those ones that takes you up and drops you straight down. We're not going to have that. So we're going to look. Is there a y-intercept? No, this blue line does not cross this y at all. So technically there is no y-intercept. So therefore, because there's no y-intercept, we can't have a b. So because we can't have a b, there cannot be a y. Y does not equal anything. So this, in this case, would not work because there is no y. So y cannot enter anything. But x, however, can. The slope obviously is going up. So our slope would go up 1 because it's going up 1. But it's not going over. So how you write the equation of this line would be x equals, because there's not a y-intercept, but there's an x-intercept. So the x-intercept is right here at this -2. Therefore, this equation would be x equals -2. This is called a vertical line, thus making it have a undefined slope. Okay, so let's do this one more time. No slope, otherwise known as a slope of 0, boring. That's where the 0 is on the top. That would be y equals something. This, a super fast roller coaster that drops you straight up and down that I'm not going on, would be a vertical line, and that's an undefined slope because it's literally going straight up and down. So that equation would be x equals something. All right, I hope that helps. Have a good night, guys.